My question to you is, which of the president's executive actions do you disagree with most and why? And I may have identified one already, but...
both of those I disagree with, and I will go through with a whole bunch of others that he has put forward on environmental executive actions and regulations. Because you can't really just leave executive actions. People think of executive orders, but that's only a piece of the executive actions that the president, in my opinion, has abused his authority. And you have executive orders which are directly from the president and out of the Oval Office, but then you have a lot of regulations that are pursuant to statute that are done at the department level. And then you have other executive actions that aren't even that formal, which are administrative interpretations or administrative actions, which are interpretations of regulations that are changed at the grassroots level of an agency. In all three of those situations, what I've seen is a huge abuse of authority and a president who is willing to contravene the direct, both constitutional, statutory, and regulatory language that is in place to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And so the question is, when a president abuses his authority like that, what is your remedy? And right now, the Congress has attempted to do some remedy by going to court in some of these cases. They have on the issue of immigration, for example. They have on the issue of Obamacare, for example. And they've gone to court and they've tried to stop the president from doing it. So I think that's appropriate to do it. But that's not really enough, number one. And number two, the president, and this is a good thing, the president's actions, all of them, can be overturned. All the executive orders can be repealed and replaced or just repealed. All of the regulations can be suspended. I mean, you can go ahead and suspend a regulation immediately on the first day of office, as well as you can change the administrative rulings. But the problem with that is that 4 years, 8 years later, and somebody else comes back into the other party, and then we're back at it the same way again. And so I really have started to look at, is there anything we can do that's going to curb the ability for the president to abuse his power? And there really isn't. That I've thought about this. I can't think of anything that can do so with executive orders, because that's certainly clearly within the purview of the president. But there is a way to do it with respect to regulations. And there's something called the Congressional Review Act, which is an act that says that if a regulation has an impact of over a certain amount of money on the economy, that the Congress has the right to review the regulation and disapprove it. And that process is used on occasion. Here's the problem. The House will go ahead and disapprove it if it's Republican control. We'll go ahead and disapprove it. But it goes to the Senate, and needs 60 votes to disapprove it, so it never happens. And so the president, because he's had either control of the Congress or because he has sufficient control to get 60 votes, to stop 60 votes from the Senate, none of these regulations have ever been disapproved. So I think what I'm going to do is come in, change all the things I said I would change, and then I'm going to make an offer to the Congress to begin to take some back of the power that they should have. And that is to change the Congressional Review Act to, instead of a resolution of disapproval, there has to be a resolution of approval. In other words, for the regulation to go into effect, a regulation is written pursuant to a statute. And so I would think that the people who actually wrote the statute, did all the legwork in putting the statute together, should have more say in the regulations pursuant to that statute. So when it comes to any kind of major regulation that has that kind of economic impact on the country, I'm going to propose that Congress has to approve it by a majority vote in the House and a 60% vote in the Senate. And if it doesn't get approved, it doesn't go into effect.